Here's a truth that most women find really attractive. 95.7% of women are drawn to it. This might be bold or even controversial, but it holds a truth that many men are too afraid to admit. It's not something you'll learn from movies, TV shows, or even from friend advice. The real secret to what makes men attractive goes much deeper than logic or reasoning. If you've ever looked to Saint philosophy, you'll understand that it's not about playing games or seeking constant approval. It's about something far more powerful. Stick with me, and you'll soon see what truly separates the average guy from the ones women find completely irresistible. Hey, this is James. I'm here to help you develop a stoic mindset to master your relationships with women and take control of your dating life. If you're ready to level up, hit that subscribe button. Now, from a young age, many men are taught to follow a simple formula to win a woman's heart. It's something you've probably heard countless times. Be kind, always be available, listen to her problems, fix things, and everything will fall into place. After all, a good, reliable, and caring guy should get the girl right. That's the story society tells us. But here's the harsh truth: it's only part of the story. The nice guy often ends up overlooked, or worse, stuck in the friend zone. So what gives? Why does this happen? The simple yet painful answer is that women aren't drawn to a guy who's always seeking their approval. Sure, they'll appreciate his kindness, respect his dedication, but these qualities alone don't exactly ignite passion or desire. Think about it for a moment. Why do those guys who seem to put in the least effort, the ones who don't chase, always seem to get the most attention? What is it that they have that others don't? Let's explore this through a simple metaphor. The Miat and the lion. The Miat is like the guy who's always trying to please. He's the one who's constantly alert, always around, and always ready to fix any problem. He's kind, he listens, he puts others' needs before his own sounds. Great, right? But here's the catch. The mere cat doesn't spark desire. He might be seen as nice, maybe even cute, but he's not irresistible. He doesn't evoke that deep emotional response that women are drawn to. Now, let's talk about the lion. He's the exact opposite. He's confident, bold, and doesn't need approval to feel validated. He's not always available. And that's what makes him so intriguing. He leads with a powerful, magnetic energy that pulls people in. Women want what they can't have. And the lion embodies that mystery in Aeon. He doesn't have to chase attention because it's naturally drawn to him. Women don't just admire the lion, they're instinctively drawn to him. That doesn't quite make sense. The mere cat is safe, predictable, and comfortable, but the lion's exciting, compelling, and captivating attraction isn't about logic or reasoning. It's about that gut-level emotional response to the strong masculine energy the lion radiates. It's the energy that sparks confidence, respect, and deep desire. So why doesn't the nice guy create the same emotional impact? Music. The answer lies in what women truly seek emotionally. They're not just after safety or comfort, they're looking for intensity, passion, and a connection that runs deeper than what's on the surface. The mere cat might be reliable, but he's not exciting. He doesn't challenge or inspire, he's predictable. And while predictability can feel comforting, it's not exactly thrilling. This is where Stoicism plays a big role in understanding the lion's allure. The Stoic philosophy teaches us about embracing our true nature, understanding our worth, and living a life of purpose without being swayed by external validation. It's about having the confidence to stand firm in your values, being resilient in the face of challenges, and not relying on others to define your self-worth. The lion embodies this Stoic mindset. He is confident in who he is, knows his purpose, and does not bend to the expectations of others. He invites women into his world, but doesn't need their validation to feel complete. That self-assurance rooted in a deeper understanding of himself is incredibly attractive. Now, if you're thinking, identify with the Makat. Can I change this? Can I become a lion? The answer is absolutely yes. but it's not going to happen overnight. It's a journey that demands commitment, self-awareness, and a radical shift in mindset. You'll need to embrace who you are, work on yourself, and learn to live with purpose. It's about taking responsibility for your life, cultivating your inner strength, and showing up as the best version of yourself. Just like a Stoic philosopher, the lion doesn't seek out approval because he already knows his value. And when you start living from that same place of certainty and purpose, you'll find that you no longer need to chase anything, attention, admiration, or affection. It will come to you naturally because you will embody that magnetic energy that women can't resist. So if you're ready to stop seeking approval and start embracing the true power within you, stick with me. We'll dive deeper into the journey of transformation, where you'll learn to step into the power of your own lion-like energy. All right, let's get real for a moment. The first step in this journey is probably the most crucial, and it's something a lot of men overlook. Stop chasing approval. I know it sounds simple, but let's dive into why it's so much harder than it seems. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself doing things for others, especially women, just to earn their approval? You go out of your way to be the nice guy, to please, to fix problems, to be that guy who's always there when they need something. You think, if I do enough, if I give enough, if I show them how caring I am, then they'll see my worth. But here's the harsh truth. Doing things for someone doesn't make you valuable. In fact, it's the opposite. A man's worth doesn't come from what he does. It comes from who he is now. That might be a tough pill to swallow, but let me tell you, it's the truth that will set you free. You see, if you're constantly chasing validation through your actions, you're putting your worth in the hands of others. And that's a dangerous game to play. It's like trying to build your foundation on sand. It'll always shift and leave you feeling unstable. And here's where Stoicism comes into play. One of the core teachings of Stoic philosophy is the idea of living in alignment with your true nature, embracing your worth without needing external validation. In other words, a Stoic knows that their value isn't defined by what they do for others or how others perceive them. It's defined by the kind of person they are on the inside, by cultivating inner strength, wisdom, and integrity. A Stoic becomes rock solid, unaffected by the opinions or approval of others. This is exactly what sets the Stoic man apart. When you stop chasing approval, you stop living to meet the expectations of others. You stop measuring your worth based on whether someone is impressed by your actions or not. Instead, you start living authentically, knowing that you don't need to prove anything. This is powerful. This is when the magic happens. Because when you embrace who you are, flaws, strengths, imperfections, and all, you become more attractive to those around you. Think about the most magnetic people. Are they the ones who are always trying to please everyone? Number ones who are comfortable in their own skin. They found a balance between confidence and humility. They don't need anyone to validate their existence. They've already done the work internally. This is what makes them stand out in the crowd. This is what makes them captivating. I want you to take a moment and think about your own life. How often do you find yourself seeking validation, whether it's from women friends or even family? How much of your actions are driven by the need to be seen as worthy? It's time to break free from that cycle. You don't need to chase approval anymore. You don't need to be the guy constantly looking for signs that you're good enough. Because here's the thing, you are enough, just as you are. And it's this shift in mindset, this understanding of your inherent value that will start to change everything. The more you stop chasing approval, the more you'll naturally attract the right people into your life. The right women will be drawn to you, not because you've done something to win their favor, but because you've embraced your true self. So let's do this together. Start by making a conscious effort today to stop chasing validation. Embrace who you are, the good and the bad. Start living life with confidence, knowing that your worth comes from within, not from anything external. And in doing so, you'll begin to transform not just the way you interact with others, but also the way you view yourself. The more you cultivate this stoic mindset, the more you'll begin to feel an unshakable sense of self-worth. You won't need to prove yourself to anyone. You'll simply show up as your authentic, unapologetic self. And that's when you'll start to see the true power within you. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this and it's hitting for you, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know what's the biggest change you think you could make to go from the nice guy to the irresistible lion. I'm really curious to see what stands out for you, and I'll make sure to respond to as many of you as I can. Plus, your comment will help others connect with the video. So don't be shy, let's start a conversation. Share your thoughts below. All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful traits that women, and honestly everyone, find irresistible confidence. But I'm not talking about that shallow look at me kind of confidence that's just for show. I mean the deep-rooted, real confidence that comes from within, the kind of confidence that radiates. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you simply know who you are. Now let me ask you, have you ever met someone who just exudes confidence without saying a word? It's almost like their energy commands attention. They don't need to announce how great they are because their actions speak for themselves. You might not even know why you're drawn to them, but you are. That's the kind of confidence I'm talking about. This real confidence doesn't come from faking it until you make it, or pretending to be something you not know. This confidence is built on a foundation of genuine achievements, growth and alignment with your core values. It's not about boasting, it's about knowing your worth and not needing anyone else to validate it. Think about it. Confidence isn't just about how you present yourself to others. It's about how you show up for yourself. Do you feel good about who you are when you wake up in the morning? Are you proud of the man you're becoming, regardless of whether others notice or not? Because that's where true confidence starts, and this is where Stoicism can really change the game for you. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is that we as individuals can only control what's within our power, our actions, thoughts, and responses to the world around us. This means that true confidence doesn't come from external sources. It comes from within. It comes from a deep understanding of your own principles and the actions you take to live by them. A Stoic man doesn't rely on the validation of others to feel good about himself. He doesn't need constant praise or applause. His confidence comes from knowing that he's doing what he believes is right. He's living in alignment with his values, and that gives him a quiet strength. It's not flashy, but it's unshakable to build this kind of confidence. You've got to put in the work, and I'm not just talking about hitting the gym or working harder at your job, though definitely help. I'm talking about working on yourself every single day. Find your passions, chase your goals, learn new things, whether it's improving your communication skills, getting better at a hobby you love, or diving deep into understanding the world around you. It all adds up. You see, confidence isn't something you can fake or just turn on. It's something you earn through your actions. It's a result of the hard work you put into your life, the effort you give to bettering yourself, and the clarity you gain about who you really are. Men who know themselves and are unapologetically pursuing their passions have this magnetic energy. It's an energy that draws people in without them even trying to think about someone, who has real confidence. They might not be the loudest or the most outgoing, but they have this undeniable presence. It's like they don't have to prove anything to anyone. They just are. They've got a clear sense of purpose, and everything they do is aligned with that purpose. That's the kind of confidence that draws people to you, especially women. So how do you get there? It's simple, but it's not easy. Start by working on yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. What do you want out of life? What are the things that make you feel alive, that spark something inside of you? Pursue those things relentlessly. And just like the Stoics teach us, be comfortable with the idea that you are the only one who defines your worth. The more you develop yourself, the more your confidence will grow. And here's the secret: as you build that inner strength, you'll naturally attract the right people. Confidence, like this, isn't something you can fake. It comes from living a life of purpose, passion, and personal integrity. So get to work on yourself, build your skills, define your goals, and start living in a way that's true to who you are. Because when you do, that's when the real magic happens. Let's dive into something that, honestly, a lot of men struggle with, but is a game changer when it comes to attraction: setting boundaries. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Boundaries, isn't that just about saying no sometimes? Well, yes, but there's a lot more to it than that. Think about the meerkat for a second. The meerkat in his nature is constantly saying yes. He's always available, always on alert, always trying to please everyone around him. The meerkat thinks that if he just agrees to everything, if he puts others' needs before his own, he'll somehow become more valuable or more desirable. But here's the truth: it doesn't work that way. The meerkat doesn't stand out. Sure, he's nice, maybe even helpful, but he lacks something powerful that draws people in self-respect. Now let's talk about the lion. The lion, unlike the meerkat, isn't afraid to say no. He doesn't need to say yes to everything that comes his way, just to be liked or to feel important. He knows exactly what he wants in life. And he's clear about the standards he holds for himself and the people around him. The lion doesn't apologize for his values, and he certainly doesn't compromise them just to keep someone's attention. He knows that if you don't respect yourself, no one else will. And here's the thing: when you set boundaries, you're not just protecting your time or energy, you're showing the world that you value yourself. You respect yourself enough to say, I don't need to do everything just to please you. I know what I need to feel good, to feel respected, and to be aligned with my own values. That's incredibly attractive. Women, people in general, are drawn to this kind of self-respect. It's magnetic. It says, I know my worth, and I won't settle for anything less. But I get it. This isn't always easy. Sometimes we fear that if we say no, we'll lose out on something. Or worse, we'll lose someone's interest or affection. And that's where the power of Stoicism comes in. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control the reactions of others, but we can control how we respond to them. When you live by this principle like a superpower, you begin to realize that the need to please everyone around is an illusion. Your peace of mind, your sense of self-worth, and your integrity, these things are far more valuable than any fleeting approval. In Stoic philosophy, we learned that true freedom comes from not being controlled by external factors. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's about embracing the discomfort of standing firm in your own beliefs, no matter what others think. Think about Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor. He didn't compromise his values or bend to every whim of the people around him. Aid by example. And in doing so, he commanded respect. He set boundaries not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect and clarity of purpose. When you start setting boundaries like the lion, you begin to embrace this Stoic freedom. You realize that your time, your energy, and your self-respect are priceless. You don't need to say yes to everything. Saying no isn't about being cold or rejecting people. It's about standing in your truth and not sacrificing your own values for temporary approval. This isn't about being rude or dismissive. It's about having the confidence and the inner strength to choose what aligns with your values. It's about saying, I don't have time for things that don't contribute to my purpose, my growth, or my peace. The more you do this, the more you'll find that people will actually respect you more for it. Setting boundaries is a form of self-love. It's not about building walls, it's about creating space for what truly matters. And when you show that you respect yourself, others will naturally begin to do the same. This is where the lion's power lies, not in his strength alone, but in his ability to protect his values and maintain his integrity no matter what the world tries to throw at him. So what does this look like in your daily life? It might be saying no to a request that doesn't align with your goals. It might mean deciding not to tolerate behavior that doesn't respect your time or energy. But whatever it is, remember, this setting boundaries is not just about protecting yourself. It's about creating the space for what really matters in your life. When you start doing this, you'll see a transformation. You'll stop chasing validation and start living with the kind of self-respect that to you in a way that's deep and lasting. Like the lion, you live with power, purpose, and an unwavering sense of who you are. No compromises, no apologies, and that, my friend, is what makes you truly irresistible. The lion moves with purpose. His posture, body language, and attitude radiate confidence. He faces challenges head-on with self-worth that comes from within that inner strength. It's what captivates women in a way the meerkat never will. Here's the truth: women don't fall for what you do for them. They fall for what you represent. They want a man who inspires challenges and sparks passion. They want a lion, not a merc becoming that man. Starts with a choice. Commit to yourself. Stop seeking approval. Focus on your goals. Build your confidence and create your purpose. The lion doesn't need to prove his worth. He knows who he is, and that certainty is magnetic. So are you ready to stop being the meerkat and embrace the lion's power? If so, this is your moment. Stand up, take action, and show the world who you are. The power is in your hands. Be the lion, be the leader, be the man who inspires challenges and attracts women, and everyone will be drawn to your energy. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.